Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Khush Kalipsiz, Dostlar, Azizlar, Kenge Beket, Yang Uzbekistan. Bravo. This appreciation is based on experience which happened to me when I landed in this beautiful country from another beautiful country, India, Hindustan. So when I landed here, Ikkayaram Yil, 2.5 years back, I had no clue what kind of country I'm going to be honest. We knew Samarkand, we knew Tashkent. I didn't know anything about education. So the challenge was, the story for me, my life, is that what kind of learners you're going to find there, what kind of the support from the government will be there to the teaching, what kind of models they are following. My task was to teach English only, English which is a foreign language. So this Yang Uzbekistan that I got introduced to is based on my story. I have seen people who are driving nicely, the taxi, they talk to us. We have seen people at the bus stations. We have seen people at tourism places. Everyone speaks English now. All these 2.5 years have been crucial for me to understand that a developing country is also developed in some way. How it is? I mean, I'm talking about the Uzbekistan 2030, and I'm mentioning to you that it is a developed country in a vision, in a mission which is there. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, that the whole world is following when we see that those goals are dealing with economics, maybe they are talking about education. What about Uzbekistan's 2030? I'm inspired. I looked at the education sector plans, I looked at the way investments of resources, policies, motivation is done. So that's how I came up with this presentation that I'm going to talk to you. I'm from India, as I told you. I work at the American University of Technology in Tashkent. These are the goals, 101, that Barrios, which is inspiring, which is a challenge, because 100 goals are covering everything of life. Now, the thing is about sustaining it, keeping it consistent. That's the key, that is the presentation's agenda and proposal to all of you. And the first one, which has the goal that I'm going to talk about, which is Torta, the fourth one that I'll be talking about, creating decent conditions for realizing the potential of every person. That's the belief the country has. It says every individual on the land of Uzbekistan. Doesn't mean, I will say it with a liberty and an appreciation, doesn't mean only the citizen. Everyone who's present in Uzbekistan has this opportunity to realize the potential. How we are going to do it with education? Uzbekistan's Strategy 2030 lists goals. This is the fourth one which is on the screen for all of us. It is about improving the status of teaching staff. It is about developing their knowledge. It is about improving their qualifications up to the global standards accepted. And it is also inviting the world to see, to participate, what's the scope for them to be there maybe in Uzbekistan to work with us. There is a target under the goal number 4, under the Uzbekistan 2030 strategy. 1,000 teachers should be educated into foreign countries for the global standards. We have another goal, which is interesting, which is already into implementation, as I have heard, that the Honorable President has supported teachers with improved salaries. There are policies coming up to motivate them, that we should pay them better, 2 times, yes. And then we talk about continuous professional development. That is what the crucial part here is. The goal number 4 can be divided in 2 parts, 2 segments. One is where the government is going to support us. The other one, we all should come together. you sitting here, one day you will be at a position where you will be able to make a change and participate in a policy implementation. This one is about CPD, which is a global practice. What it is? Continuous professional development, training them not just for Uzbekistan, but for the world standards. Another one, which is the 4th part of this, it is about implementation of a system for training our team in highly sought after areas. What are these areas? People are talking about AI. You can easily change the photo of someone, agreed. You can do mathematics solutions, agreed. You can do science, you can do assignments. But are we teaching AI to everyone? Are we talking about technological skills with everyone? Are we training them with the areas which are creating more jobs? So the 4th one is about training our teachers, training our teaching staff across the country so that they can match these standards of, remote areas like Tashkent, yes, growing. Tashkent has got international universities. We all are sitting here in a fabulous auditorium and talking. What about our remote areas, the regions? The 4th goal is about taking the Strategy 2030 implementation to the remote areas and bringing growth there. So these are the 4 things that we are going to talk about. In a summary, you can see that it is about training and internships, sending them abroad. We are talking about increasing the average salary by 2 times. And we are also talking about continuous professional development of 500,000 staff members. How that is going to happen? Is that possible ever? Yes, it is. This is what we are going to suggest as our recommendations, discussed with scholars, discussed with students also, what is possible. The 4th one is about finding out the focus areas where we can actually give advanced trainings. What are the benchmarks? I mean, when we are talking about just goal number 4, we need to know that the Uzbekistan 2030, the strategy that we are working on, doesn't depend only on our country. It has to look for the best practices worldwide. I mean, there are, like, we should learn from them and bring up them with all improvements we can make. USA has got one interesting thing, flexible entry into teaching. Quite interesting thing. You can be a teacher if you are good enough to teach something, and you can do some short courses and you can come. They have got multiple pathways to get into teaching, particularly schools. Finland and Sweden, we are always excited about them, be it social media, which tells us, we watch a reel that the students in Sweden or maybe in the US or maybe in Finland, they're learning in very innovative and happy ways. Uzbekistan does have that. That's why I said bravo, but we need to take it to all parts of the country, to all the schools which we have, the maktabs, the universities as well, we need to have it. So, and they also have one thing, think of becoming a teacher. And sometimes people say that, Parveen, I'm telling you my name as well, I'm Parveen. So they say that, some people become teachers because they don't want to do something else, and some people become teachers because they found it as an easy option. So everyone wants a good teacher, but is it like everyone wants to be a teacher? So this is one thing where the entry-level requirement for teaching in Finland, Sweden, be it in India or US, it is very strict. You cannot become a teacher easily. That's one thing. The pedagogical institutes or something, they need to come up with more maybe strict policies, maybe advanced curriculum. That's what we are going to talk about. India also has something interesting. There is a national education policy which was implemented in 2020. Not in the past, but quite recently it is getting implemented. It has got entry-level requirements laid out for teachers. It also has one more thing in which the society, the community has become part of, training teachers. We'll discuss it. And what about Uzbekistan, what it is doing? I would say Uzbekistan has started doing pretty well. It's not an appreciation, it's a realization. It's a bravo for Uzbekistan that I say, because I've seen it along with all fellow teachers who are teaching in Uzbekistan and belong to other countries. Now, without delay, we need to move to consistencies. Now, here are the challenges. The first one, the second one. 1,000 teachers sending abroad. Okay, government will do it. Certainly, they will do. They will bring up global experts. We'll have another part of salary. Yes, it will be supported. And there will be a public-private model as well. What about the third and the fourth part of it? That's a challenge. That requires the participation of every single person here and every single person who will be coming across goal 4 under the Uzbekistan 2030, the strategy for us. Now, this one that I'm concerned about, I am talking about is continuous professional development of 500,000 staff members, the teachers. How it is going to happen? There's a model that I studied in India. I worked with NCERT, CIET, our prime institutions for school teacher support. They do 2 ways, online and offline. You cannot reach every part of a country. I mean, and that's not even required. The reason is you have got some master trainers you train, you send them to the regions and they train there. So we have a chain reaction of supporting each other. That's what has happened in India. The Nishtha model, which has motivated us, we could reach millions of teachers through this one. Another one which is about finding out the areas which need the state support for grants. I mean, which area you wish to train people about. Maybe you want to train them in technology. STEM, you know it, you have heard of it. STEM education in Uzbekistan needs more support from your side when you are learning in universities, when you are teaching children around you. All of us need to give them that competence about the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, as well as English, because English cannot be left behind. So this is what we are talking about. Find out the areas where we can invest our resources, but what are we going to do? We found the areas. We say that technology is required. We say English is required. We say that all our teachers across the regions, they also need some support. But how to do it? And then we say that's the requirement. So this is a summary that is on the screen. It remains with all of us. The Nishtha model reached all states. I mean, in India, we call states, like regions are called states, the provinces. So what they did, they create state resource groups. Okay? They create national resource groups. The national one is trained, those 120 people will train 1200 people, those 1200 people will train 100,000 people, and then it goes maybe again, and then this is happening. There's a one word called MOOCs. Anyone knows about it? Like MOOCs, massive open online courses. These should be developed, but who's going to develop it? I mean, should it be only the government, or should it be only our team which is working on our goals and targets? No, it should be the community, it should be the universities, it should be the schools, it should be every single parent which is there. All of us should come together to help achieve our goals. Now, these are things that I don't forget, I must not forget. The first one here is teachers of practice. Sounds good. Sounds interesting either. Professor of practice, I heard. Professor of practice is a person that is a person in industry, quite successful. You bring that person to a university and you give them the position of professor of practice. They become professors. But what about schools? I mean, you know, when you make fries, the kartushka is the one we need to take care of in a way. Like, so what we need to do is the seed of the tree is there in the schools. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget it. So what we need to do is we need to involve professionals and bring them to schools and make them teachers of practice. In universities, the policy is worldwide. We can have it in the schools also. What is Uzbekistan alumni? There are people from India working here. There are people from Uzbekistan working in India, working in the US, every other country, they are there and they're shining like stars, be it in technology, tourism, they're working good. Why don't we involve people who are achievers, who are scientists, who are engineers, who are into education, tourism, who are design thinkers? Let's bring them back for some short courses in Uzbekistan and ask them to be teachers of practice, returning, giving it back. I mean, that has to be a policy decision and a community support decision between all of us. The other one is, don't go crazy about technology. You know, that's a problem. AI is not the solution of everything, okay? Now, what to do? Don't control technology just because that you see some Instagram reels that Sweden or Finland, they are doing it. Don't have a fascination, but use it with a plan, a complete oriented plan that we have. An organized integration of technology should happen. Done. What is this teachers in service capacity building, PD? PD, professional development. I would suggest one model for this. About professional development, I see one interesting thing, that our teachers in the maktabs or in the schools, wherever they are, even the universities, the mahalla, everywhere, they should be given continuous professional development training, but there should be a plan for it. I mean, saying it as a slogan, okay, teachers, there will be a training, it should be consistent, and there should be a control on it, there should be an appreciation on it. Another one is community participation. I believe in Uzbekistan's culture, the rich culture where the community is part of education. Our education is not something which is isolated like, you know, an island is there. No, education has to be community driven. It should be community supported. So more mahalla involvement. Mahalla does not mean maybe a building. I'm talking about the community where all elders who know the history of Uzbekistan. I mean, you know it better than me, like the ancient mathematics and science people who invented things. Let's bring their knowledge back and have community working with us. Teach for Uzbekistan. A pilot project started last year in Uzbekistan. There's a Teach for All community, NGO worldwide. We have got a very successful, well appreciated model of Teach for India in India. Teach for Uzbekistan has started here now. You all are brave and I must appreciate this has happened. So now, Teach for Uzbekistan is what? A one-year training that one person goes to schools and teaches. Why don't we have a short-term Teach for Uzbekistan where I would be happy to be a volunteer. Someone comes and gives a Teach for Uzbekistan short-term program. Such things should come. The reason is, if you cannot achieve big, at least you should achieve some small objectives. Now we move on to not to forget Uzbekistan 2030 strategies, important part, teachers. Don't let people become a teacher easily. I'm not saying that make it difficult or impossible, but let them know that teacher is the change maker or maybe the maker of a country. So there should be a very strict eligibility check. That's what Finland is doing. That's what Sweden is doing. That's what India has been doing. Now, what we need to do is the eligibility to become a teacher should be very strict. Now, the curriculum, the syllabus which is taught in pedagogical universities should be refined. Why? From where the teachers are coming. They are not coming from, some other planet. So we need to work on refining the curriculum which is there, which is the syllabus which we teach, and make it, aligned with the global standards. The reason is the teachers are coming from there and then they are entering our schools. Then we have got international universities. This one, they are international universities. They are invited. They open good campuses. They offer degrees. What about their participation with the school education improvement? Now, I agree that we have got a target of 1,000 teachers going to foreign countries. We have another target of thousands of teachers being trained. But how are we going to do it by 2030? We should engage all international universities present in Uzbekistan and those who wish to volunteer and those who are, capable enough to handle these things. We should tell them that come together. Let's have this Uzbekistan 2030 strategy mapped with your contribution to Uzbekistan, and let's train our schools so that, what's the purpose of this school education? You wish to take them to university educations for better careers. The university should come up. And CSR, like the corporate social responsibility, it's not just the companies. The universities can also contribute a lot. So we all can come together and be, an open door thing for them. There's one more, that certification, like this is for teachers. Teachers may say one thing. They say that, this man is talking only about teachers doing this course, that course. But, my fellow Yolochlar, journeymen, you all are teachers. We have a great responsibility. I agree there are 100 goals, but no one can achieve them without schools, without teachers. So these Ustazlar, we are the change makers. We should be proud of it actually. So this one is an AI, okay, agreed, we should have it. Don't talk much of AI because people are talking of it, but we should have summer camps, winter camps for teachers, which should be a regular function happening all over the country. Let's have effective professional development frameworks and technology. Let's have a flexible entry into teaching for people who are good to teach. Let's bring up the good practices from Finland, Sweden, and keep them consistent. I have taught in India in schools and universities both, and I see that my elder son is in 6th grade and he's going to study AI or design thinking as a skill subject. So why don't we have skill subjects on a large scale in schools? We can have it, and then it would do wonderful things. The equity by reducing disparity in access. This is something which is part of the Uzbekistan 2030 strategy, and I really appreciate it. You need to be brave to say these things in those 100 goals, that we need to take educational growth to every part of the country and then dedicate things on it. We have got a peer group and a focus group model where you have got 20 teachers in a region, you focus on them, you do a pilot project on them, and based on their improvements, you make them the educational leaders to bring more changes. Can be done. We have got a higher education qualification for in-service teachers. The last one on the slide is mapping. If you look at the SDGs, I am catering and mapping my talk with all of you to a goal under the SDGs. This is what has happened in India under the National Education Policy. So map the topics, whichever is possible. A topic which is taught in the class, maybe you're teaching them composition in English, maybe you're teaching them resume writing, maybe you're teaching them presentation skills, maybe you're teaching them cultural communication, maybe you're teaching them history, design thinking, AI. Every single curriculum topic can be mapped. Mapped means can have a parallel table where I say, this is my subject, this is my topic, and this is the goal from our Uzbekistan 2030 strategy, which is being implemented, which is being introduced to the students. It says, pedagogy is about instruction, andragogy is about teaching people who are adults, elders, and heutagogy is about, hey, bola, you learn the way you want to, fine, what to do. This is the concept, skillgogy. Teach them for skills. Every single subject that you study is a skill. You have to implement it in whatever you do. If you teach me how to write in English, I should be able to write speeches. If you teach me how to do a code, I should be able to make a great application for my country. Let's have incremental changes. Let's have competence development under the vision of Uzbekistan 2030 strategy. The pride of our goal that we are talking is based on our joint participation, some support from the state, more support from our willingness should be there. Kattar Ahmed, Young Uzbekistan, bravo. Stay connected with education. Thank you.